give me the family name of the authors, and what you're going to be reading about.
The family name is the Chases of New Orleans.
And how do you spell it?
Chase.
Okay. Is that a family? Or?
Yes, it's a family. And the author is Carol Allen. She's a publisher.
Okay, so the subject is the Chase family?
Yes, it's really civil rights movement in New Orleans, but the Chase family is a major contributor to it.
All right, so who's the author of what you're reading?
Carol Allen. Carol Allen.
A-L-L-E-N. Okay.
Yes. I couldn't find the book. I tried to run those, you know how you print the front of the book off, but I couldn't. But I'll explain it all to you.
Does everybody know how to use Voyager? You guys have all used.
Yeah, the one at the library?
All right, so
yes.
the deal now is the library is probably going to buy ebooks.
Yes.
I know, but better than nothing. So
yes.
When you're looking for things, you may have to go on. But if you don't see the physical book, don't abandon all hope.
I have the physical book, but I don't have it with me. It's in my stuff in the rooms.
Very good. So tell us about it.
So, and I can pass this around. You can see it, everybody.
Okay.
Or you can start there and we'll go back this way. But anyway, I'm from another school. I'm a transfer. And the class equivalent to this one at another school was like this one. So the thing was we had to do an original paper on a subject in history, written and unwritten. Mostly do primary source information or secondary. So I had to do this thing on civil rights in New Orleans. So I went through these articles about civil rights. Much to my surprise, in my 30-plus years of living, the place that I would often go to eat from in the womb up was Dooky Chase restaurant. Come to find out that this restaurant played a major part in the way this country is today. Leah and Dooky Chase, against the segregations and Jim Crow laws, allowed blacks and whites to meet upstairs in an office. Well, now it's an office upstairs in a room that held 30 people, and they would cram 65 people in that room. And this is where the SCLC, the NAACP, SNCC, the Freedom Riders, CORE, everybody met and organized to do things in this country to bring about race relations for everybody here, including today. What I didn't know is I also knew a lot of the people who played a part in all of these movements before they passed away. People like Aretha Haley Castle Haley, Rudy Lombard, and so many others. And I only knew them by their first names. It was only after going through research in the library and seeing these names over and over and over and over again. And I said, you mean to tell me I've known all of these people all of my life, and I didn't know the story that this restaurant had? So I'm going to use the research I've had in the past in conjunction with what the world, or with how Europe has looked at how race relations were in the 50s and the 60s. I think it's going to expand the paper and make it something that everybody would like to see. I just had no idea that Dr. King and so many other people, Ray Charles and everybody else, they made music about this place. And just last week, I'm from New Orleans, the anniversary of Contrita. On ABC News, they talked about a restaurant in New Orleans and a famous chef. Have you seen Princess and the Frog? Have you know anything about Princess?
Yeah.
The chef in Princess and the Frog is named after Leah Chase. That's her. Modernized. That's my good friend at home. So she talked about, yes, she's a chef. She talked about how she fed Bush and Ray Charles and all these people. Everybody you can name. Lena Horne liked crab cakes there, and Sarah Vaughan liked things. So they talked about all this, and she said, if I had the chance to do anything over again, I would like to. She said, I liked Mr. Bush because he was so kind to me when he came to New Orleans. And she told me how they ate at Commander's Palace. And she said, Caesar, I don't know why he was so nice to me. She said, but he asked me to cook him breakfast. And I'm not too particular about cooking breakfast. She said, but how could you tell the President of the United States you don't want to cook for him? And she said, when Mr. Obama came, Norman Francis was there, and they didn't want him to know where he was going to eat. And he got there, and he sat down to get some gumbo, and he took and put the hot sauce in the gumbo, and she said, that's not what you're supposed to do, but he didn't know that you're not supposed to do that. But anyway, to make a long story short, she said, I told Mr. Obama, you don't put hot stuff in my gumbo. So he did, because he wasn't going to eat. He wasn't going to eat in the very beginning. He wasn't going to eat at all. So she said the one thing that she wanted to do was to feed him one more time. And the following day, I get a message from her grandson, and there's the president in her yard, and she's outside sitting down, and he walks up to her and gives her a hug. So that just made my day. I think it was like last Thursday or Friday. I was just in class like, oh, good. So the thing about it is, this project, this family, Leah and Dooky Chase, they did these things to bring about change for people in this country. In our years of talking and doing research, I came to find out, and from other people that I've talked to who are involved in the civil rights movement, people, I'm not going to say my age, your age, are the ones who are rightly so to be angry about things that occur in our society. Because I was told by Maya Angelou a long time ago, she says, Caesar, it's really nice when you are young and you can be mad and you can be an activist and you can do all of these things and you can go out and protest. But when you get past 40 years old, it doesn't look too good on you. So that...
Okay, that sounds excellent. Has anybody done an oral history?
Yes, I've done an oral history on her. That's Camille Cosby and Bill Cosby have this thing called the Visionary Project, and they have featured everybody over the age of 70 years old.
Because this is a big project, so
yes.
we need to think about how
making it smaller.
For 20, 25 pages would be most effective.
Yes, there are a lot of works. Yeah. Ebony Magazine is in one of the that I'm passing around. Ebony Magazine is one of them. She's been in a lot of magazines and a lot of different texts. And today I found out at our library, because I was going to get a copy of it, but it's a video. 75 women who've changed the course of history in this country. She's one of them that's featured. So I'm going to take all of these different sources and see what's what, put them together, and then find a book on civil rights history during the 50s and the 60s in Europe and see how they view the United States versus how we view it.
Yeah, there are two very important studies, which all of you, including you, are too young to know about. But a Norwegian did a very, very important study in the 1940s about race relations. They called it the American problem. And then a senator from New York, Pat Moynihan, wrote a very important study about families in the 1960s. So it might be, as a young historian, it might be very interesting to look at this through those two lenses, because those were two very powerful lenses by which people understood. Patrick Moynihan said that the black family had been destroyed by slavery.
Yes.
And that was his argument.
Yes.
And then the Norwegian said that race in America was a particular American problem.
Yes.
Which had no parallels. So I think that would be an interesting lens. Okay, very good. Any questions?
There's one other thing on.
Real quick, because we got to
Yes,
get everybody.
Dooky Chase restaurant is still open. There's one thing that she did say that a lot of people wouldn't say during the time. Aretha endorsed his mother worked at the restaurant for 40 years. She said, Caesar, the one thing that I do know is this. She said, I wouldn't, at the time, encourage my children to do anything like that. She said, because it would ruin us. She said a lot of people during that time would not encourage their children to go out and support anything as far as civil rights, because they could end up dead, killed, or in jail for the rest of their lives. That's all I have to say. We'll talk more about the rest of it. Y'all can call me or talk to me, or we can do a discussion.
We'll be talking about our projects every couple of weeks, but I just want to give everybody a chance. I'll check. I may rethink.
Caesar.
Okay, good. Who would like any questions? Okay, who'd like to go next? It's not too painful. Okay. Children, come on, children. Just decide. Ladies first.
All right, I lost. So I'm gonna probably be the first person to pick a history book that's not directly